PAHO Director Dr. Carissa Etienne delivers feature address at annual distinguished lecture. Hello and welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine.
And I'm Kimani. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others right after this.
Hey, I had a good time in town last week with a pretty girl, man.
Hey, carry me next time when you're going now.
When we get paid Friday, we gonna go.
Careful, they might catch AIDS.
AIDS? Them girl pretty. Them girl can't get AIDS, man.
I think it's only ugly women have AIDS. Anybody could get it. If you get sick, what you can tell your wife?
Hey, your wife, come in.
Hey, change the topic. Change the topic.
Your family depends on you. Don't take home AIDS.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
The facts as they are, brought to you every day. Only on GIS Channel 7.
Welcome back. Dr. Carissa Etienne delivered the featured lecture at the 6th Annual Bernard Sorrento Distinguished Lecture held at the University of the West Indies last week. After serving in various health departments on the island, including Chief Medical Officer and Director of Primary Healthcare Services for many years, Dominica's own Dr. Carissa Etienne was elected Director of the Pan American Health Organization in September 2012. Tuesday's lecture focused on universal health coverage. Here's a clip from Dr. Etienne's discourse at that event.
There are a few concepts that I want to stress in universal health coverage. The first thing is the emphasis on universality. All people, universality. The next one is comprehensive care. We need to ensure that all people have access to not only curative care, but prevention, promotion, curative care, rehabilitation, and increasingly now, palliative care. An important principle of quality, and this also was absent in Alma Ata. Increasingly, we are saying that healthcare systems must deliver quality care. But importantly, it must not expose individuals to financial hardship. So there must be some level of financial protection.
Dr. Etienne also spoke on the issue of equity in universal primary health care.
It is important because ill health is rooted in inequity and poverty. Those are the biggest obstacles to people enjoying a healthy status. Inequity and poverty. Latin America and the Caribbean is known as the region with the highest level of inequity. So the disparities within our population is so great. We have the very, very rich and the very, very poor living side by side. And it is this disparity and this inequity that sets up the condition whereby people suffer ill health. You know, in the world today, over 1 billion people have no access to health care of any type. And these are the sort of inequities that we are talking about.
The health expert affirmed that since the formation of universal health coverage, Dominica has led as an innovator of primary health care.
Dominica has been a pioneer in terms of primary health care. It is true to say that the framework that was laid down in Dominica in as early as 81, 82 continues to be the backbone of what is a healthcare system. But the history is that not many countries actually was successful in implementing primary health care.
Dominica's head of state, His Excellency President Eliud Williams, was among the many distinguished guests who attended the event. The affair ended with a question and answer segment.
Last Friday, the spotlight was on the Youth Development Division and the other 500 volunteers and participants of this year's volunteerism program. The Pierre Charles Secondary School served as the grounds where the volunteers were appreciated for their time and talent with a ceremony. This year's program, titled Running with Water, was held with the partnership of DOWASCO and the United Nations Development Program. Carrie-Ann Remy is coordinator of the volunteerism program of the Youth Development Division.
It is hoped that this year's program has ensured that young people have a better understanding of the importance of water, educate youth on climate change and disaster risk management, promote continued participation of youth in civic activities, the prevention of youth violence in school and communities by creating positive alternatives to idleness during school time and summer vacation. We also hope that it has harnessed the creative energy of young people for development of both self and community.
The program's format involved the summer day camp as well as a work-study facet, which focused on community-based projects with emphasis on water cooperation and conservation. Dominica's Minister for Youth Affairs, Honorable Justina Charles, praised the annual volunteerism program, saying that in addition to exposing youths to the spirit of charity, the program also aims to build character.
Today we are recognizing the many young persons from the various secondary schools and other areas that have given your time, your talent, and your treasure to work with the younger children among us. And I need to commend you for that, because you could have spent that time doing something else. You could have spent that time COing, as you like to say, going out there and probably getting engaged in things that are non-productive, things that are probably antisocial, but you've chosen to find yourself, to engage yourself in something that will not just help you as an individual, but will contribute to the life of our young people. And as you continue to do those programs through the summer day camp and youth and work study camps, you are not just impacting on the lives of those that you are working with. It is very much impacting on your life as an individual.
Chief Youth Development Officer John Roach shared that sentiment. He stated that persons should find comfort in the fact that youth are embracing the concept of giving.
You will agree with me that now more than before, volunteerism is critical for small island developing states such as Dominica. I say this for the following reasons. Resources are limited. Dominica cannot afford the high costs associated with labor and expertise. Volunteerism engenders friendship and builds strong bonds among individuals, organizations, and communities, and also helps dispel violence. More is accomplished when the available resources, and there is a sense of ownership and a responsibility to protect what is completed. Volunteerism is accepted internationally as a win-win situation where the community benefits as a whole, but very importantly, the sense of satisfaction, accomplishment, pride, and a sense of belonging that is experienced by the volunteers is immeasurable. This feeling accentuates the philosophy of the expression, not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Dr. Spencer St. Luce, a past volunteer himself, was the event's featured speaker. His presentation centered on volunteerism, culture, personal and national development.
The Youth Division has been able to rebrand something and sustain it. And in so doing, it is countering the cultural decline into a cult of individualism and self-worship. That's what I say it is. That is so evidently destructive. It is destructive because when an individual can look and say, well, all I'm concerned is making money, and it doesn't matter whether I destroy 20 young men with drugs. That is a self-destructive culture.
Wanjai Lee, a volunteer attached to the United Nations Development Program, worked with the Youth Development Division this summer to execute the Running with Water venture. At Friday's ceremony, Lee expressed his belief that Dominica represents the volunteerism ideal in the Caribbean. While sharing that Youth Division's program has so far been the best volunteerism experience for him, Lee affirmed that Dominica could be used as a volunteerism model for other islands.
Recently, UNDP Barbados and the OECS started a regional strategy on Eastern Caribbean Volunteer Support Platform, which is not only to reinforce the kind of success in Dominica, but also to improve the impact of volunteerism across the Eastern Caribbean region. The centerpiece of this strategy is called the Eastern Caribbean Volunteer Support Platform, which is a collaboration mechanism for government, volunteer agencies, and civil society organizations to improve the impact of volunteerism. It aims to mobilize civil society to promote volunteerism and recognize its contributions. It also strengthens coordination of volunteering projects, and it also tries to support capacity building of civil society organizations by training and research. Considering the number of experienced volunteers and the level of government commitment in Dominica, I believe that Dominica can be the ideal starting point for initial good-made programs for the Eastern Caribbean Volunteer Support Platform.
Following the ceremony, the Appreciation Day continued with sporting activities at the Geneva playing field.
In more news, a new modern agriculture station has been constructed in 1 Mile, Portsmouth. The multi-million-dollar facility replaces the agriculture station in Hillsborough, which was damaged by flooding in 2011. The project includes 7 greenhouses and an open field for demonstration. GIS News accompanied Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Matthew Walter, on a tour of the facility last week.
This smart greenhouse, as you can see, will be primarily used for the propagation, of seedling materials. And as soon as the tissue culture lab is being established here, we expect this smart greenhouse also to use as a hardening facility for the planting materials. So we expect in about 2 more years that a tissue culture lab will be built here, and also a training center will be built here by the government and people of China to train the farmers in such a way that they do agriculture as a business, and they recognize that agriculture is a science, and they have to try to possess the technical know-how to be able to do agriculture in a real profitable manner so that it can impact positively on their livelihoods.
Work on the Venezuelan-funded abattoir project is on schedule. This was confirmed by Dr. John Toussaint, who is head of the Agriculture Investment Unit. Dr. Toussaint accompanied Agriculture Minister Honorable Matthew Walter on a tour of the project site last Wednesday. He believes that the contractor will meet the October 30, 2013 deadline.
Presently, we have the pig slaughter facility on island, and we expect the poultry slaughter facility about the 24th of September to be on island. The abattoir itself is a prefabricated building, and we expect to install the pig slaughtering facility within 3 weeks, and the poultry slaughtering facility we expect to assemble it within 2 weeks, 15 days. So in due time, we expect, like by next week, I think, by next week we will start assembling the pig slaughter facility, because we expect the Venezuelan technicians, the Spanish technicians, because it is a Spanish company, TIASA, who is responsible for putting the abattoir together. We expect the technicians to be in Dominica by the 25th of August to begin assembling on Monday. That is Sunday 25th, so that they can start assembling on Monday. So you can rest assured, within 3 weeks, we should have the pig slaughtering facility completed.
The project is part of government's effort to develop and expand the island's pork and poultry sector.
We want to develop the livestock subsector in such a way that it becomes a generator of employment and economic activities. And we also want to achieve self-sufficiency in poultry and also in pork products. I think that it is incumbent on the government to find innovative ways and means to reduce the huge import bills of poultry and pork products into Dominica.
The abattoir project is just one of 7 components of the pork and poultry expansion project.
We have the rehabilitation and expansion of the fields, that's production units. We have the procurement of stock material, that's your piglets and chicks. We have the procurement of feed. We have the production of the finished stock, that is the broiler to be slaughtered and the pigs to be finished or to be slaughtered. We have the administrative arm of the entire enterprise. We also have the processing, which is the abattoir, the processing unit, the abattoir. Everything is around the abattoir. The abattoir is the main arm of the project, since the abattoir will be responsible for marketing and distribution of the meat product.
Within the initial years of operations, the facility will have the capacity to slaughter 50 pigs and 4,000 chickens per day. In an effort to improve the stock of birds and pigs, government intends to provide technical and financial assistance to the island's farmers.
We have 2 entrepreneurs who are prepared to do business with the organization, with the whole program, to establish a hatchery and a feed plant. There's a 3rd entrepreneur who is prepared to do the production of grains for the feed plant. So we're on the way.
The production of animal feeds is very critical in order for us to be able to reduce the cost of production so that we can be competitive on the domestic as well as on the regional or the export market.
Dr. Toussaint told GIS News that a board of management has been put in place to run the entire enterprise.
And the private sector is represented as a business sector. The farmers are represented as a production sector, also private, but we're looking at production. Both poultry and pig producers will be represented on that board of management.
Kimani, I'm really elated to hear about this station, this agriculture station in 1 Mile. It's definitely tangible evidence of government's commitment to the agriculture sector. What do you think?
I totally agree with you. And if we have to look at the entire package, there are so many different projects going on in agriculture right now, with the new opening of the 1 Mile station. We're talking about the abattoir that's going to be opening soon, the coffee plant. So there's a lot going on in agriculture right now. So yeah.
Right. One of the things that stands out too about the station in 1 Mile is that there's also a training component that goes along with that. And I must say that the Chinese government has really been instrumental in ensuring that this project has been executed to the fullest capacity. It's a beautiful station, I must say.
Yeah, and it's modern, and it's a larger facility than the old one, which was in Layo. So obviously it's going to have more capacity. So they're going to be able to do a lot more plant propagation. So all in all, you can't go wrong with this kind of investment in agriculture.
You really can't.
And then the government, even in the recent budget, $19 million was allocated to the Ministry of Agriculture. And all these are just fruits of, what the benefits that the farmers can derive from that kind of investment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Government also places high emphasis on agriculture because, it's important that they are able to feed the people of Dominica and also export as well.
Yes.
So that's really important. Yes. And this agriculture station in 1 Mile Portsmouth is definitely going to help with that.
Yes.
And that's it for the English segment of the news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, ministre Public Works a tient réhabilitation plusieurs chemins tout en pays là. Parole ça la sortie du ministre Public Works, Honorable Ribbon Blackmore.
Il y a un pile de chemin en communauté Dominique qui est mauvais aussi. Par exemple, nous avons le chemin Point Baptiste, chemin à Calibichi. On a bâti chemin, on a chemin ça. En village Loda, même, chemin là même. Si vous sortez de Baffer Street pour aller à Loda, si vous allez là, c'est un chemin qui est bon, mais là, on a le village là même, le chemin n'est pas bon. Nous avons aussi bâti ça. C'est drain là, à Lago Petit son place qui a mené un plus l'eau. Et bien, ce bagage technique, après, nous avons bâti ça. Là, nous faisons, nous faire certains, nous ranger chemin là aussi. Aussi, quand on range chemin là à Cottage, tout de suite, nous avons commencé à peine pour le Vegas. Et bien, nous, pour venir dire merci pour mon Vegas, peine pour le Vegas, tout ça. Puis, chemin ça, c'est mauvais pour un long temps. Et maintenant, pour le monde qui a parlé de bêtises, chemin qui est passé, quand toute l'argent ça, pour le ministre a dépensé à peine le Vegas pour chemin. C'est pour ça, pour comme aller en place ça pour voir conditions chemin. Et bien, en Cassibrousse, Jardin Road, là, nous avons chemin ça. En Woodford Hill, nous avons chemin. Nous avons bâti un maçon dans Zabico aussi. Et bien, tout de suite, nous avons chemin en Glasgow Fokoli.
La nouvelle ministre de l'Éducation qui a lancé le programme TIVET et puis Civic en 3 écoles en septembre. Parole ça sorti du ministère de l'Éducation. Honorable Peter Saint-Jean.
En mois septembre, l'année ça là, nous avons lancé ce programme-là en 3 écoles. L'école grammaire du DGS, l'école Goodwill et l'école North East Secondary. Mais ce n'est pas vraiment. C'est 3 écoles ça simplement. Nous avons commencé EPIO, mais nous avons quoi que l'année prochaine, nous avons gardé les autres écoles et aussi, ça nous avons créé Assisted Schools. Ça c'est l'école là qui pas vraiment sans gouvernement. Nous avons gardé ces écoles ça pour comment nous ça grandi programme là en toute l'école en Dominique. Puisque nous les bat tous Dominicains. Pas seulement les enfants de l'école, mais aussi les gens qui travaillent en secteur privé ou en secteur public. Après, ils quittent le travail, ils ont servi l'équipement, servi l'école, là, ça nous pour augmenter l'état qui ont fait.
Et Banque Dominica a annoncé une ligne de crédit loan, qui a offert à des gens qui sont intéressants en industrie cochon et puis poule. Ça fait une facilité qui a bâti, ça c'est un abattoir. Banque là a encouragé les habitants pour l'avantage facilité cela qui a offert. Banque là a fait parole qui a bien plaisir pour offrir crédit cela en Dominique. Banque là a collaboré et puis ministre Agriculture Investment Unit pour courir faciliter cela. Finalement, on sait maintenant qui a mis attention à continuer drogue et puis sport, ça prend place en Dominique Jodéa. M. Félix Wilson, c'est chef comité olympique Dominique.
Nous parlons moun pour jeune moun pour drogue pour yo ni un avantage là yo ka faire compétition et aussi nous parler yo détruire quoi yo, you know, puis sous pas drogue ou les gagner mais il ka tuer peut-être. OK? So, nous avons un workshop ici, nous avons parlé avec différentes administrations des sports, Moonhod Sport Division, Moonhod National and Drug Prevention, et aussi Moon Education Officers. So, là, il y a un message là, aujourd'hui, il y a aller dire d'autres monde, et préférable jeunes monde, et dire pas point drogue. Là, il y a fait sport, mais généralement, pas pour être drogue.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson and Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next is your tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans, and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
In today's tip, we'll discuss a practical way that you can start to save. In these trying economic times, most people find it difficult to save for their future. The first rule of saving is to view your savings as an investment in yourself. In other words, pay yourself first.
A realistic percentage you should always put aside for yourself from every paycheck is 20%, since you do all the work. Then pay your bills. If you have any money left over and can afford to save an additional 10%, do so for emergencies. At the end of the year, you'll be proud of the investment.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm.
Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Kimani Saint-Jean.
And I'm Pearl Fontaine. Thank you for watching.